Hello, Avian Solar here. Today I'm going to be going over the basic introduction to combat for new PCSOs. So let us start with a more in-depth look at the equipment you have access to as a PCSO. The taser is a less than lethal pistol based on the 4.5 and can fire one round every 2 to 3 seconds. It has an effective range of 50 meters, and if you hit someone within that 50 meters, they will be stunned for 20 seconds. However, over 50 meters, the taser has absolutely no effect. The stun gun is a less than lethal SMG based on the Sting 9mm. It has a magazine capacity of 30 rounds and effective range of up to around 200 meters. Unlike the taser, it will take multiple hits to stun somebody. However, the longer range and faster fire rate make it better when it comes to building clearance and other combat situations. Let us now talk about weapon handling. There are three main states for your weapon to be in. Holstered, which can be achieved by pressing Shift and H on your keyboard. You should do this when you are in a safe location, such as at a police station, or you are the negotiator at a hostage situation. Weapon lowered, which can be achieved by double pressing Control when your weapon is raised, and you should use this position when conducting day-to-day business, talking to civs, or just walking around. And gun raised, which can be achieved by drawing your weapon or double pressing the control key with your gun lowered. And this should be used when in a combat situation or you are initiating on somebody. When moving with a weapon, we can either move with the weapon raised or the weapon lowered. If we choose to move with the weapon lowered, we move reasonably quickly, even at a jog. However, we have to click twice to raise the weapon and then fire it. This can cause a momentary delay between you seeing the target and being able to get a shot off, and sometimes that's all the hostile needs to get a shot off back at you and finish you before you can return fire. If you choose, however, to move with your weapon raised, you are significantly slower. However, you do not have to double click and you can fire a shot straight away when a target appears, and you do not have to wait to pull your gun up. I'm now going to talk about stances. There are three main stances, which are standing, crouch, and prone. To switch between these, use your X and Z keys on your keyboard. Not everybody knows, however, that each of these stances has a high, mid, a low, a left, and a right version, which can be switched between using the Control W, Control S, Control A, Control D keys. Starting with standing, we have standing high, standing mid, standing low, crouched high, crouch mid, and crouch low, prone high, prone mid, and prone low. Turn to standing, we can go standing left, standing right, crouch left, crouch right, and prone left, and prone right. As you get low to the ground, you'll find that you'll have more stability with your weapon and it will recoil less, allowing you to fire more accurately. However, the trade-off for this is you are far less manoeuvrable if you are, say, prone as opposed to standing. In addition to these stances, you can also lean left and right. Use the Q and E keys. This can be useful when trying to peek an enemy and get the first shot off. I'm now going to discuss shooting with you, and for this I've switched to an MX. Now, in my experience, shooting is a very instinctual thing, and the only way to really improve at it is to practice with your preferred firearm. That being said, however, there are a couple of things you can do to make your life a little easier. The first one is to avoid firing from the standing position. If I fire from the standing position now, you can see my shots go a bit all over the place, I get quite a bit of weapon sway, as well as recoil. If I crouch, however, sway and recoil is significantly reduced, allowing me to control my weapon a lot better and keep most of my shots on target. The second tip I've got is to not hold down the trigger when you're firing. Instead, fire in short bursts or single shots. If I'm to hold down the trigger now on this target, I'm really struggling to get my gun back onto target after that first shot. If, however, I'm to fire in short bursts, you'll see that I can get it back quite a bit easier and landing more shots on target. And then, if I switch to single shots, I can keep most of the shots inside a man-sized target. Taking my time, I'm not rushing, I'm making sure my shots land home. That way I have to spend less time reloading. My final tip is one that quite a few people don't actually know about, and that is how you can use hard cover in your environment to stabilise your weapon. So if you look at the top right hand corner of my screen, you can see there's a man standing on his own and there's nothing around him. That means that there's just my two hands on the firearm stabilising it at the moment. If I was to step to the right and press against this wall, you can see a white box appears. That means my hands and the wall are being used to stabilise my firearm. And if I was to fire my firearm full auto now towards a target, you notice I'm having a much better chance of stabilising it and keeping it under control and keep my shots inside that man-sized target. Now all sorts of objects can be used for this. You can use the walls, net barriers, windowsills, and even vehicles can be used to stabilise your firearms. So remember that next time you go into combat. If you've got something in the environment that you can stabilise with, use it. In the last part of this video, I'm going to be looking at how you can properly decamp from a vehicle when under fire, both as the driver and the passenger. I'm just going to show you an example of a decamp situation and I'll break it down and go through it. As I'm driving forwards, I come under fire from the sports hatchback in front of me. I immediately apply the handbrake, use the X key, and turn to the left. This way, when I get out of my vehicle is between myself and the shooter. Position myself behind the front wheel, thus the engine block is protecting me from oncoming rounds, and my feet are protected from people shooting under the vehicle by the SUV's wheels. This position also means that I will benefit from the extra stability provided by leaning against my vehicle as covered in the shooting section of this video. As the passenger in the vehicle, I wait until the vehicle comes to a complete stop. I'll then switch to the driver's side so I'm not getting out with no cover, and take position behind the vehicle's rear wheel as the driver is in front of the front wheel. Once again, I can now benefit from the cover from the vehicle, cover from the wheels, and the stability the SUV will provide me when shooting over it. That's all for today. If you liked the video, please like and press the thumbs up button. And I'd like to put a quick thank you out to Isaac, Crumpet and Zibber for helping me create it. Have a nice day.